realize how much I hated my body until I started deleting every single photo that was taken of me from the side. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're doing a little bit of a personal deep dive into my own fitness journey. So we're gonna be going through it all. We're gonna go through how I gained a lot of weight in uni, how I lost a lot of weight, how I started ego lifting in the gym, how I stopped ego lifting, what happened when I actually started following a plan, and kind of like just the whole journey from beginning to where I am now. So without further ado, let us dive in. I've always been active. I grew up playing sports and my mom was a personal trainer, and so I kind of knew what healthy looked like, or at least like I thought I did. Now, I've always had a sweet tooth. I've always liked kind of like junk foods, and I remember as I kind of got older and I started having a bit more autonomy when I got my driver's license, I would come back with fast food and all of these like massive like drinks and things like that. My mom would kind of always say to me, look, there's a chance you're probably not going to be able to eat like that forever. You might want to start trying to incorporate some healthier eating habits. And I was like, don't care, I'll deal with it later. I wish I took her advice. Guys, I wish I took her advice, but of course kids don't listen to their parents, so it is what it is. So because my mom was a PT and she kind of gave me this base understanding of nutrition and like what it means to have a healthy meal, like have vegetables, have protein, etc. I kind of knew all that. Now, I hadn't really put it into much action myself because I'd never lived alone. However, this all changed when I moved to London for university. So a little bit of backstory, I came over to the UK for university when I was 17, straight out of high school, and I didn't have a massive support system around me because obviously I just moved to a new country. Now, also at this point, you should know I'm a people pleaser, and that becomes important a little later in the story. So I moved to university and I was super excited. I'd stocked up my fridge with so many vegetables, so many healthy proteins, all of this stuff, and I was really like planning to be that girl. Okay, I was gonna be on it with my workouts, I was gonna be on it with nutrition because I wasn't dumb. Like, I know what the Freshers 15 is, and I didn't want that to be me. Clearly, that did not go to plan, but that's okay, and I'm gonna tell you why it didn't go to plan. So, in uni, I had a few flatmates, and they were kind of naturally skinny, and they really made me feel bad about the food choices that I was making. They would kind of make fun of me for the like healthier things I was trying to cook, and it was never like blatant aggressive bullying, but it was just like subtle, snide comments that really kind of stuck with me. Like, I remember I'd made this meal, and I felt so proud of myself for trying to take care of myself, and she was like, ew, like that looks so gross, like why are you eating that? And maybe that is a bit of bullying, I don't know. But I remember like that kind of stuck with me, and that made me feel like maybe I was doing something that I should have been ashamed about, when in reality, I was doing the best thing that I could have done for me. But after like the first few weeks of uni, after a lot of those comments, I started to kind of let my new eating habits go out the window and replace them with different ones. And those eating habits were ordering Deliveroo all the time, eating all of the snacks in the house, only eating junk food, going out and drinking loads and loads and loads, getting takeaways after a night out. And suddenly the weight really started to pile on, and I probably gained around 10 kg at least in just like the months between September and Christmas. I knew that this wasn't super sustainable, and I knew what I was doing wasn't the best thing for my body, but I also couldn't really see the weight that I was piling on. It wasn't until like years later that I look back on photos and I'm like, girl, you put on some weight. And the thing is like I was having such a good time while doing all of this that I didn't really care, and I adopted this mindset of like, oh, I'll just like figure it out later, like I can like lose weight super easily later down the line. Obviously, I'd never tried to lose weight before, so I didn't know what a freaking battle it was gonna be, but that's okay. Again, we'll get to that later. Let's fast forward a few years, and this is where I would say like the next stage in my fitness journey began, and the catalyst for this was a pretty nasty breakup that also led to a friendship of mine ending at the same time. And my coping mechanism for this kind of chaotic time was to basically just try and present myself as I am completely fine. I was not fine, but I couldn't let anybody know that, so I started going to the gym, I started eating healthy, I started just like trying to basically prove to everybody that I was so unfazed by what was happening in my life. I do think that is really what pulled me out of what could have been an extremely negative headspace, is just like blind optimism to the finish line. However, what had happened was I placed so much emphasis on appearing strong and feeling strong. It led to me really just ego lifting in the gym. I avoided all sorts of cardio because God forbid anybody see me sweat, because in my mind, if I was sweating, that meant I was out of shape. And if I was out of shape, then I wasn't fine and I wasn't like a strong human being. Obviously, that is literally so ludicrous, but that was what my mindset was. I didn't have a plan, I didn't have accountability, and honestly, it showed because I didn't make any progress during that period. Now, fast forward probably about a year when COVID hit, and everything that I had been building in that kind of like workout routine that I'd been trying to do just kind of collapsed in front of me, and I shifted into this mindset of like, if I own gym clothes, then that means that I'm healthy. Again, I know that's wild, but that is literally what I thought. So throughout COVID, I was pretty much a couch potato. I did not move a lot. I would do like the odd Chloe Ting workout every once in a while and maybe a few crunches. I think I went on one run during COVID, and other than that, I literally just sat down, drank, and ate, and that was it. And I piled a lot of weight on again. Fast forward again, the gym's open, and I'm like, slay, let's get back into it. And I start going to the gym consistently again. In an effort to be more consistent, I also created my Instagram account. Now, I had done this and I really didn't actually know what was gonna come of it. I kind of just did it for fun, and I was like, yeah, like, I'll just post on there every like once in a while. And it was only ever mirror pictures, okay, in my little workout clothes. And it was never a video, not at first anyways, because the idea of filming myself in the gym was quite literally one of the most terrifying things I could ever think of. But I slowly started building my confidence in the gym because I did start getting validation from people online, and whether that's a good or a bad thing, it did make me feel good and it made me want to keep going. And maybe that's what accountability is in some respect, is having somebody telling you you're doing a good job so you want to keep doing it so you can keep being told you're doing a good job. You know what I mean? So I slowly started doing a few new exercises in the gym. I was still terrified of a lot of them. I was still terrified of hip thrusts, the assisted pull-up machine, those things I was terrified of. But slowly but surely, I started trying those exercises too. Now this took place over the span of like a year and a half, so don't think it was just like overnight. I was like, slay, let me face my fears. No ma'am. It took a lot of like guts and a lot of courage and a big empty gym for me to get to that place. Every single one of those new exercises I tried, I realized how silly I'd been for avoiding them for years, because literally nothing bad happened and they were actually really easy to set up and nobody even batted an eyelid. At this point, I had been training for a while and I was feeling strong, but I definitely was hitting a plateau. I was doing TikTok workouts, I was doing my own made-up workouts, I wasn't a PT at this point, and I was just kind of like, I would say, vibing. And at this point, I knew that I wanted to feel lean, I wanted to be jacked, I wanted to look like the girls that I saw on Instagram, but I just couldn't do it. Like I didn't know what the disconnect was, and it kind of was frustrating because it felt like I was doing all of the right things, but still nothing was actually changing. When I looked in the mirror, I could kind of like finagle myself into like a position where I looked kind of lean, but at the end of the day, I was still what we would call skinny fat, because I was like smaller, but I didn't have much visible muscle, and I definitely had a very high body fat percentage still. And the reason that I was still skinny fat is because I paid zero attention to my nutrition whatsoever. The only thing I kind of thought about was protein, but even still, not really. I wasn't pushing myself in the gym, so I wasn't continually actually building muscle. I was just getting a bit more confident lifting higher weights, but it wasn't because I was getting stronger, it was just because I stopped being a scaredy cat and lifting weights that I could actually lift. Does that make sense? Now for the thing that quite literally changed my life, was getting a coach. Now, I had been following my current coach. I'm still with her today. Love you, girl, Naomi. Shout out to you, saved my life. I've been following Naomi for ages on Instagram, and eventually, like, she posted something and it must have just like spoken to me, and I was like, you know what, like, maybe I should get a coach. Like, maybe like that could be like the missing piece, because I've got so much going on in my life. Like, life is so crazy and so busy that I don't want to have to think about what I need to do in the gym. I just want to like know what to do. Do you know what I mean? So I got a coach and it literally changed my life. Honestly, within like the first like 3 weeks, I was like, wow, I should have done this sooner. It was the first time that I had a program that was tailored to me and my specific goals and fit around my life. I started seeing such great results so quickly, and it was just such like an empowering feeling to know that it wasn't my fault. Like, I wasn't lazy, I just didn't have the right approach. The beautiful part about that is the progress I was seeing stopped being random. I knew exactly why I was seeing the progress, and it was because I was following the plan. That built so much trust and confidence within myself to know that if I just do the things that my coach sets out for me to do, which aren't like really that hard, I will see the results that I've always wanted. And that feeling of knowing that you can actually achieve the things that you started to feel like maybe it's just not possible for me, There's nothing. There's literally nothing like it because just wow, you know? Because of the way she impacted me, it made me realize how much I actually want to do that for other people. And that's what led me to start to get my PT qualifications. And the second I started studying for it, I was like, yeah, I love this. I'm so interested in it. And I am now a fully qualified PT, and I've had my PT business for over a year. And helping people literally is my jam. There is no better feeling. Other than reaching your own goals, there's nothing better than seeing other people reach their goals, especially when you know exactly how hard it is to be in their shoes. So now I help busy women break their cycle of knowing what to do but not doing it, going to the gym but not actually really seeing results, or losing progress every single time life gets too busy. I know from personal experience it can be so scary to invest your time and your money into something that you don't know 100% whether it will work, but let me guarantee you this, if you put the work in, the results will come. Fat loss, muscle building, all of those are an exact science. There's a lot of factors that come into play, but the actual science of it is pretty simple. So if you put in the work, you will see the results. Now, where the coaching part of things comes in is having a coach that actually understands you, understands your struggle, and understands how to get you from A to B without just simply saying, eat less. That's not helpful, okay? You need somebody who's actually gonna help you do this and guide you and give you the accountability, hold your hand through the process. Do you know what I mean? I think it's really important for me to share my story because you may see me on Instagram, you may see me on TikTok and think, wow, she's really got it together, like she's probably always been that way. No, ma'am. I have been through my own fair share of struggles. I've struggled to lose weight. I've struggled to gain muscle. I've struggled to find balance among a super busy and chaotic life. But I have managed to find that balance, and I know that you can too. If you're watching this and you're like, you know what, I'm done guessing, I'm done trying to figure this all out on my own, like I'm ready to finally start to see the results I've always wanted, all you need to do is send me a message on Instagram, or you can also fill out the link that I have in my description and we can have a quick chat about where you are, your current situation, and we can start to build out a roadmap that is tailored around you and your goals and your life. I hope this video has been helpful and made you feel a little bit less alone in your fitness journey. And with that, I hope you have the best day ever wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I love you. Goodbye.